Hey party people, welcome back to MVM. And today I'm here with the preview for The Mix by Roost Games. Roost Games made I think their first game was about like foxes. And I thought it was interesting, but I was like, let's see if they can go another level here. And this is The Mix. And what I love about this publishing company is like they have like this love to Lacerda and medium weight games. And that's what they're trying to make them better and better. Now I'm a thematic. I like thematic touches. And I usually am gameplay over everything, but when I saw this, I said, oh man, you know, I like to mix up a good cocktail. I was a bartender for a long time. And here we are with this game. And I said, hey, can they pull this off? Mechanics, you know, pouring drinks, serving customers. And that's what you're doing in this game. You're basically collecting different resources and trying to fulfill the orders of clients that are at your table. You're a mixologist. You're competing against other mixologists. And by gathering the right ingredients and timing and a whole bunch of other Euro mechanisms, worker placement, tableau building, you're going to serve these customers and get different kinds of points and experience along the way. That's pretty much the run of the game, but I'm just going to dig into it and show you so that way you get an idea if the mix is for you, because I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. I'm going to show you what's up. Now, if you take a look at the board here, definitely a medium weight game. It's not this super light game, but it definitely has an ease of flow to it. Typically, you're going to be placing a worker in one of the spots in your slots over here or on the board in these specific slots, and you're going to take the action. You have some spots that can get multiple actions, and like I said, this is a prototype here. And then you have some spots that can only take one. You have actions that you can take between your actions, or before or after your actions, and that's pretty much it. But what you're trying to do is get these cards that are your clients, and you're going to try to fulfill their orders by having the ingredients that they need, and you'll fulfill those orders, and then you'll start to trigger off combos based on the orders you completed and the techniques that you have. All right, so what does this look like here? Up top, we kind of have like what I call the timer for the game. The game ends when you have made 15, you've served 15 clients total together. So in a 4-player game, it'd be 15 drinks. In a 2-player game, though, it's 9. And what you're trying to do as this goes along, this fox will kind of follow along too, and you'll unlock things randomly, because these actually are different every game. You can shuffle those, but as you develop, you'll also gain experience as well to give you better skills as you move up the ladder. All right, so what does that look like? Let's just go ahead and dig right in. I have played through the game a little bit here. I've made up my fake scenarios, but we're going to get into it. We have our ingredients here, and then we have our supply. This is our supply, but this is what they have. It's called the store. You can buy these. You can buy from here for $5 a pop before your turn or after your turn, so that you can fulfill the recipes on these cards. These are level 1s, 2s, and 3 cards, and these are based off the die that you have here, which is like your technique die. And a cool part about this is under this, everybody has this like little pad here, and this pad has different values on it. This die right here is your experience, and what's going to happen is you're going to be moving this on this board and getting the benefits where you stop. It's a pretty interesting little thing here, but also you're going to be leveling up your die, and that will allow you to make different levels or have access to different levels of cards, which need more ingredients, and they give you better results and more money. That's the goal. The goal is to raise up that level of experience and raise up your level of kind of awareness, I guess, at the bar, so that you can be a better mixo, okay? You also have your technique cards over here. Those will give you bonuses to your little tableau here, your little engine here at the bottom, so that in between, when you set up or in between rounds, you'll be able to trigger some of these, and that'll give you more points and things of that nature. But let's just go ahead and dive in, and I'm just going to show you a couple things. Let's just start with the orange player. And I should say every player starts with 2 different versions of themselves. They give you different benefits. You choose one. On the left, you're going to have your tip dice, and we'll show you that. This is my reserve of my recipe stuff. This is my ingredients here. We have our workers. We have an extra worker, which we unlock when we get more experience. All right, I'm going to place this here, and one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to get a client card. So looking at my die, I have a 2. These are typically 1s and 2s. These are 3s and 4s, and these are 5s and 6s. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab one of these 1s here Well, I have a blue and a purple, so I think I'm going to take that. What happens with these cards is they have different icons on them that tell me what I can pick up. Since I have a die, experience die, that's higher than 1, I can take this. But I also immediately get to tick up this die based on this right here. So it tells me, hey, this experience die goes up, and now I put this over here. A couple other things. When I build this card, it's going to give me 4 money. This is the stuff that's required. This is actually a tip die that I roll when it's my turn here. As a matter of fact, I just realized I have a tip die I shouldn't have over here. And then also something that happens between rounds. But for right now, it goes right here. And there are spots where you could actually add another board to here, so you'd have extra place for client cards. I'll touch on that a little bit. But that would be my turn. Also, let's say I want to go down here instead. So I'll go, instead of doing that, I'm just going to go get some ingredients. So this person here would go and they say, hey, I want ingredients. Now this is my ingredients here. It's a limited supply. There's a reason why some of these are gone, is because we've been grabbing at them and getting resources during the game, as you can see. But also, these are limited until we actually have a setup. Okay, so you can, this is kind of a competitive interaction part, because if you don't get to certain ingredients before someone else, they're gone. So let's say I wanted to get different ingredients, and I'm going to either put them right on here or in my reserve. I think what I want to do, and this should be slid down here, I think what I'm going to do is grab some ingredients for the next ride here. And I see I have a 3. I might be able to do this. So I think I'm going to go with this and this. These are 2 ingredients. They're going to go over here. All right, so that would be my turn. And a couple other things, like between turns, before I take a turn, I can turn in, do certain things. So I can do one action that's kind of an additional action. I can trade in these shakers, and shakers are about to come into play to get an ingredient. I can turn in 2 ingredients of the same and get an ingredient. I could pay $5 to get an ingredient out of here. I can do a lot of different things here in between, before or after my turn, before my action, just so I can get things done. Then we'll go with this one here. How about I go, and I'm just going to show you this. If I place this here, I can get one of these tip dice. Now you'll notice I have these dice over here. These are tip dice. I will roll them when I complete cards, and it'll tell me how many dice I need to roll, and that's extra money. But you can get what's called a temporary die, and that temporary die can join your dice over there, so you can roll 1 extra die 1 time. So if I have a 1 die roll, if I have a temporary die with it, I can roll that. So I roll 2, and then I get rid of that temporary die and put it back over there. Little powerful thing. But for now, I think I'm going to pick up what's called a technique card. So I would have to pay one of my shakers. All right, and what I'll do is I'll grab one of these techniques. So I'm looking at this stuff here. I got an atomizer, I got a double strainer, and the reason why you want these, and we'll show you in a second, I'm going to do one of these numbers here. I'm going to get this one, and this one has an immediate effect that lets me tick up my die. Okay. Ooh, I'm about to cheat. Okay, there we go, buddy. All right, so we put that in there. And we can only have 3 of those in a game, but they are very important because they're going to do something when we get to the later part of our setup. And that would be my turn. Next up, maybe I want to make what I'm doing here. Now I can place down here and get another shaker. There's a couple things down here, like in this turn, I could place here and wipe out a row. I could place here and reset an area. I can place here and get one of these here, so I can have an extra seat. Extra sheet on the side of my board. So you have different spots even on the main board that you can do this, and there's supposed to be glasses here, but I didn't get those in my prototype. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a drink, because honestly that's what we're here to do. So I would pay one of these shakers. I happen to have all the ingredients here because I wanted to show you an example that actually is done. Okay, so we'll build all this stuff. We'll turn this stuff in to the shop. Okay, and then we'll look at the card, and the card tells us how much money we're supposed to get. So we get 8 money. Let's go ahead and just turn this in. Boom, boom. And then I want to also shake this die. It says I got to get to shake 1 die. So then I'll, whoa, that doesn't count. All right, I get $1 extra. All right, so I get $1 extra. Now remind you, if I did have this, I would roll this with it. Ooh, that would have been nice. That's $3 extra, and then I would put it back. And then what happens is this goes off to the side, but I like to tuck it down here. All right, and now I've made my second thing here, and that actually extend this beyond here. So what happens? There's a lot that happens actually. Now I'm going to get what's called experience. So whenever this book pops up, it says experience. This is my experience board. There's level 1s, 2s, and 3s. What happens with your level 1s is this goes over here in your board here, and it gives you benefits for when you complete cards or do things. Like for example, I completed this card, I actually get $5 because my bartender, that's what he does. But over here, I may get something that says, hey, when I get a new card, a new client card, I get a point, or I get 2 money. For me, when I get a new client card, I get one of these shakers here, and you need the shakers to do sort of the final actions of the game that you really need to get done. When you get to level 2. So I'm about to get to level 2 because I just gained experience. These are other ones when I get a card. When I complete a card, I get something. When I complete a card, I get something. When I buy something from the store, I get a benefit. So as you can see, this is kind of the flow of the game. But as I get to the second one here, I unlock another worker. So now I have 4 workers. Okay. And then finally, the third spot here, this is where you would add on to here, and it fills up your board. When it fills up your board, you actually have access to it one time, and you can place an action cube on it to activate it. And those are like the best ones in the game. Some of them are going to give you benefits that allow you to take actions that will give you like almost an extra action on your turn. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and do this and place this and get a shaker. So there's some spots here I can go do the exact same thing I was doing before. So I could actually even take this and put these on here, and I could go up here, let's see, up here, and go ahead and get some ingredients. So I have the purple, I have the blue, I need another blue, so I'll take a blue and I'll take this black. And I have all the pieces for the recipe. I'm ready to go, okay? I'm ready to go. Oh, I should have also said this too. When I get to the third level here, when this fox gets to certain levels in each one of these, you're going to get this benefit. So everybody actually gets to tick up their die. And those are random every game because these things are, there's a whole bunch of different ones here. I forgot to show you that. Sorry about that. I skipped that over. And that's basically it, okay? So that's basically it. What are you trying to do? You're fulfilling cards, you are building up your tableaus and whatnot. So what happens when you run out of workers here? Because I would be going on forever. When you finish off, and let's just say it was the next round, when you finish off, you are going to do what's called a setup. You're going to go across your board here at the bottom. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and move this over here. I'm going to look at each one of the cards that I have finished, and I'm going to take the benefit on the bottom right. So on the bottom left, you get it instantly when you get the card. On the bottom right is what you get when it's time to do your setup here. So I'm actually going to get $3 here. I'm starting to roll in some money, yo. All right, so we got that. I'm going to get what's called a bar stool, and for each one of these that I have here, each one of these that I have, there's a benefit on there, and there's a benefit on our base one. So I would get another shaker, I would get 1 more money, and then I would get 1 more point. All right, and there are ones that give you points. This one here gives you 4 points. This one here allows you to move 3 spaces. And then I would look at my technique die. This one says floating. I get one thing for the recipe thing. So I get, let's say I'm going to just grab a purple. So I get 1 from the store. This one says I spend $2 up to 2 times to move. So maybe I move and I pay $2 to move and get another shaker, and then $2 to move again to get another, say, orange here. Okay, so I pay 4 money to do that. And this is just based on having these techniques that actually help you do cool stuff. Like down here, I have one, if I spend one of my shakers, I can get 2 points. I can do that once per round. But that's up to you how you want to do this. So you can do it, so you can do these things. The next is kind of like your maintenance upkeep. So for each one of these that you have to pay $2. Now there are penalties if you can't pay and things of that nature, but I just want to make sure you understand this part is the more space you have, awesome, but the more cost it is, which is not a good feeling. You want to make sure you're kind of managing what you have, but you also want to make sure you get as many of these done as possible before you run out of time and the ability to complete these things. So it's kind of a risk, but you want to make sure you have this, your tableau together and be able to kind of churn out these as fast as possible so that you can level up and get more things done. And then after that, if you have the expansion, you're going to do some things. Otherwise, you bring all your guys back and you decide which one of these will refresh. Okay, so for example, I decide gray will refresh. These refresh back up to 2. If we had higher player count, we would go further on. And then that is it. So in our 2-player game, we would end at 9. So, you know, you have a combination of us finishing cards and whatnot. But once we get to 9, we will play until we get to our setup round again. And then we'll score. And the score is based off several things. One, if you have incomplete cards, ingredients, you have ingredients, those are worth points. Your money can be converted to points. The shakers can be converted to points. You may have just different things that are worth points on there. And then you have, in your die, your experience die, whatever number it's on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, you're going to get those points as well. But there are these cards that are out here, and I have 4 in my prototype, so I'm assuming there'll be more, that will score you a big chunk of points based on what you've done. So this one here is clients. How many clients did I complete during the game? Well, if I completed 5 of them, I get 24 points. If I completed 3, I get 12. This one here, how many technique cards do I have? So if I have 2, I get 10 points. If I had all 3, I would get 16. Or this one here, if I have an experience tile, like I have 1 here, that's 4 points. And then this here, I have 10 points. So just to give you an idea of how this works. This is a medium weight game. It's easy to digest, and it's got that thematic touch. You're mixing up drinks. You're having a good old time, hanging out and mixing it up for your clients. That's pretty much what the game is trying to exhibit. And if you think this gives you a flow of that, then definitely check this game out. I would say that this game creates the thematic experience of mixing it up as best as possible in a board game that you could, right? Other than just taking it up, and honestly, those shot glasses that they have in there, you almost can shake them up in real, just to kind of simulate doing that. That's meta stuff, but that you get what I'm saying. But overall, I think this is a really solid thematic Euro experience that does a really good job of showing off what it's like to mix up some drinks. Hopefully I helped you make an informed backing decision today and give you an idea of what this game does. Because I can't tell you what to do with your money. Folks, you make informed decisions, and hopefully I'm helping you out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Let me know. Like and subscribe. Take care, party people. You have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me on MVM.